another off-track small talk. Today we are in Bolton to have a chat with 217 Lee Fairhurst. Going out in 3 episodes. Episode 1 we will look at Lee's career to date. In episode 2 we will concentrate on the world of stock cars, and in episode 3 we will bring you Lee's refurbished shell car for the 2022 season. Lee, thank you so much for inviting us up here today. It's a nice day. It's colder though than at home.
I didn't invite you, you invited yourself.
I did.
I said yes, so yeah, it's good to have you, to show you around.
Right, when we first started this off-track journey, like way back in 2019, you were the first person we ever spoke to. I asked you loads of random questions, and I think the most memorable thing for me was when you talked about shopping and the gifts you buy for Jacqueline. So 3 years on, has anything changed? Are we still doing the same?
Same sort of shopping routine. I still do the shopping. I'm now buying things for little William more so than Jacqueline, so he always wants to grab the stuff in the aisles and stuff. But yeah, since then you've rose to new fame, haven't you? You can't walk around the pits without going unnoticed, and you love it, don't you? So
I do a little bit, yeah. Thank you very much. So 2022 will mark your 13th season in Bristol Formula 1. You came in and we did Formula 2 first, and your dad raced Formula 1. And I guess the natural thing for me would be, well, you just come straight into Formula 1, so why the Formula 2 journey?
I think at the time, when I was 16, there was a rule in place that you couldn't race Formula 1s until you was 18 unless you've raced national mini stocks to such a level, at Blue Top I think it was. So that's why I went down the F2 route when I was 16. So I just finished playing football then, I wanted to get into doing something else. Obviously ideally I wanted to jump in the F1 straight away, and because my dad had everything in order to set up and go from there, but obviously we went down the F2 route, and yeah, I think we did maybe half a season, back end of 1 year on tarmac, and then a couple of shale meetings, and another half a season on tarmac the second year. So it gave me a good understanding and grounding, and what I've learnt from that I've carried on and took with me through the F1 journey. So yeah, definitely a good place to start and learn your trade sort of thing, because I never raced anything at all before that, so when you consider that and what I've achieved since then, it's been a big achievement.
But I think you can see a real difference when people come into Formula 1 having raced that many stocks or a junior formula. You can see quite straight away that they've got that track craft, like Callum Thornton at Skegness.
They're just on it, aren't they? The kids that come out of minis, they're just, there's nothing, they're fearless, they're just nothing holding them back, they're just, track craft's there, they're not scared of the contract, they've been there and done it, so it's just another car to them, and they've just pedaling it as hard as they can, so yeah, credit to them.
You mentioned football. A few weeks ago when we were sorting out the Formula 1 versus mini stocks football team, there's a huge clamour for you to be on the Formula 1 stock car drivers team. Why?
I wasn't picked, was I?
No, I don't know why.
Danny Raymond was manager and he didn't pick me. In fact, I got a phone call, said, would you be referee? I said, I've never been so insulted all my life. I think you had to book in to get on the list there, so I don't know, maybe if we do it in future with the F2 lot or the V8s, maybe that'd be a good match-up. We'll do another football match hopefully, and I'll get involved hopefully, yeah.
So why did they want you so much? Are you good at football?
Must be good at something.
There's a rumour though, weren't there, you were good at football at one time?
Yeah, I was alright at one time. I've put on a few stones since then, so I don't think been much running going on, but I'll give it a good go.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 3-0 or something?
Yeah, there. Yeah,
3-0.
Yeah,
might have been 4-0 if I played, or I might have let one in 4-1.
Yeah, but I think I was genuinely surprised. I think we were all surprised. Frankie Raymond Jr. was a star player. He was, there was some very good football players.
Well, for his age, yeah, definitely.
He's 50 apparently.
Covered some ground. I mean, how Paul Hines didn't score a header, I'll never know. But I wasn't there, so maybe he missed a few. I don't know, but maybe next time we'll get that one.
But football, in all seriousness, you did have an opportunity to go and to potentially do football as a career, and you kind of, was it you that sort of made that decision that you didn't want to continue that, or? Yeah,
I played for my local side probably from 8-year-old or 7 or 8 or something like that, and I got soon picked up from Bolton Wanderers Football Academy, scouted me, and I signed up when I was 8, and I played for the academy up until I was 12, and then when I was 12 I signed a 4-year contract which took me to 16. And obviously I didn't have a big growth spurt until I was later on in 16, 17, maybe I'm still waiting for it, I don't know. But obviously all the other lads were just head and shoulders above us, so I was struggling to keep up with them, and obviously it's like in football, sometimes some of the small lads make it, and then some lads have got a lot of talent, and they just get let go because obviously they've not had that growth spurt and they can't compete at that time with the rest of them. So yeah, I had a few other offers because Bolton Wanderers are quite high up established academy. I had a few offers for a couple of local teams around here, Bury, Rochdale, a couple of others, but just my heart went in at the time. I didn't want to pursue that route, and I'd done it for so long, and to be honest, I felt like I missed out a bit on them. Like, went to racing with my dad, watching him, and all the other kids were racing minis, and I couldn't even have a go because I was contracted to them, and insurance with if I get injured and stuff like that, it couldn't happen. So I'm glad I didn't. One way I'm glad I didn't do it, but another way I'm not, because you know the life I've got now, and how I've met Jacqueline through racing and stuff like that, all that wouldn't have happened. So
things happen for a reason, don't they?
Exactly, things happen for a reason, and at that time, my heart, I didn't want to do it, so you can't look back at it and regret it, because at that time I didn't want to do it. So,
but you know, on a cold February night and you're in there, do you kind of think, if I was a footballer, I'd be on Barbados now, laying on the beach?
You could be in a cold winter night in Stoke, couldn't you, playing at their ground? So it's the same difference, isn't it? I've had some terrible wet matches playing football in my time. So, but I've been lucky enough to travel a bit of the world with football as well. I've been to tournaments in Dallas, and been to Spain a few times, and Poland, and I've been very lucky to go with the rest of the team and play in such tournaments.
It's almost like you say, a great thing to have done, but then actually this is great as well. So it's almost like two parts. And
yeah, exactly. Also, I've grown up around stock car racing all my life. So my dad's been racing since all my life. So you know, it's just a natural thing to do, and to jump in. And obviously, I picked up the wheel pretty quick and learned what to do. So yeah.
So jumping on that then slightly. So when you started in Formula One, Skegness in May, you had a massive impact on the sport. Heat and final in your first meeting. Why do you think you were so quick off the mark, so straight away?
Well, my dad had done a few years in that car prior to me jumping in it and racing it. I think he got it somewhere where he was happy with it, but the main thing for me jumping in the car and obviously going from the front at white was obviously once I started to race, and my dad was watching me as well. One thing I'm really good at is giving good feedback of how the car feels and stuff, and vice versa. My dad's really good at watching the car and seeing where I'm losing out and where we can improve on the car. So I think when we first jumped in the seat and we started racing, like we made some changes, and it kind of just worked straight away, and I was quick straight away. And I think I did a practice session before that first meeting, and obviously good scoring from the front. I was just away unless the yells come out.
Yeah. So going into that meeting, did part of you think, actually, I can win this, I can win a race, or was it a bit like, I'm not sure how I'm going to do? Were you confident that you could do so well?
I don't know. To be honest, I can't really remember how I thought I would do, because I'd won quite a few races in F2s, and I won a final in F2s, so I knew I had the speed and the track craft to do it. But I honestly can't. It seems like a lifetime ago now. Like when you think back at it, it's just seems so long ago. But
you look very young as well.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I still do. So from my age, but yeah, it was just we just hit the ground running really, and it weren't long before I got up the grades. Yeah.
Yeah. So in that first season, you won the European Championship 2009. You won the British twice, and you've won the World. So they're your kind of career highlights, I guess. But which one are you most proud of? Which one means the most to you?
Obviously the world will always be talked about in like stock car history. That's the nature of how I won it, and coming from the back and stuff, and obviously it's the biggest achievement that you can win in our sport. But the one I really think that I really deserved and earned was probably the first British, and I won that as gold top. So I think even though I won the gold the previous year, and then I didn't do shale before that, so then we got a shale car as well, and we started racing both surfaces. I think there was just still a lot of doubt whether I was actually one of the top drivers, and I think I went out in that season with that gold roof, and it gave me like just a new lease of confidence, and I just drove the wheels off it all year long, and won quite a few finals, and the British just capped it off really. And I think that's when people like sat down and thought, like, this lad's like, you know, he's here to say sort of thing, and he means business. So yeah, that's the one I'm most proud of. The second British as well was good, because there's a lot of yellow flags, and Tom was behind us on each restart, and he had the tarmac car to beat at the time, I thought, and he was very quick. but obviously 3 restarts. I managed to almost win it 3 times in that race. So yeah, that's probably one I earned the most. But yeah, probably the first British was the Swedish. Yeah.
No, I get that, because I think in stock cars it's a funny thing where you agree on tarmac, like you say, won the world final, where people are going, was that a fluke, or you almost need to do well on shale and tarmac to kind of go, right, I am good.
That's what I say. I think there's a lot of doubt in people's mind whether it's just a flash in the pan, that world final, and whether he's going to be a worthy world champion. But I think I finished that, obviously, when I finished that year as gold top and had to give the gold roof up, then I think people, everyone stated that I was a good world champion, so I was proud of that.
Yeah, good. So the European Championship win 2009, it briefly featured on Gears and Tears.
Monsoon.
In what, sorry?
It was a monsoon, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, absolutely. Were you a bit cross that there wasn't any more of you on that? Because I mean, they had Danny Wayman on a pogo stick, but nothing of you with your championship victory.
No, well, it's each to their own. They want to film Danny Wayman on a pogo stick, that's up to them. But yeah, I think obviously we all know Gears and Tears went down that Smith versus Wayman route, and that's what that was. It weren't much about the racing. It was just about obviously the rivalry between the families, and that's probably what made the general public, rather than the stock car public, tune in.
Yeah. So you said I was famous, more famous than you, but I haven't been on BBC television. I mean, you have.
Yeah, for like 2 seconds.
I know, but if you pause it, you're there. I'm not on BBC. So.
Yeah. I've still got the DVD, so I have to dig it out and pause it and have a look.
A championship I haven't mentioned is the Under-25 championship. You became quite prolific at winning that race. That means a lot, I think, the Under-25 to you, doesn't it?
Yeah. Obviously, I think that was another one I won in the gold top year on shale as well, which obviously was a sweet victory as well. I think at the time there was Ryan Harrison, myself and Dan Johnson, and Tom was in it, so it was like gold, silver and European champions all racing for the Under-25, so it was really hard race to win against the other lads. So obviously I think that was the first year I won it, and then I won it a couple of times after that, and ended up obviously winning it as I was 20.
Yeah, it was a thing, weren't they?
Get some stick about it, but I didn't make the rules up, so it just happened where I started the year off as 25, so I was eligible for that when I was 26, and then obviously I won it, and then was able to do the next year. I think,
so you did 29.
I was just taking the mick, so I'd be like the oldest Under-25 champion you see,
So like now when you go to wherever and they ask you your age, you're like, I'm not actually sure, because I've been like lying about it for such a long time.
So confused, I don't know what's going on, but yeah, we're in the 30s now, so yeah, old.
No, we're old. Me and Sophie are old. Oh no, not Sophie, just me.
Yeah.
So I know she's over there. So one of the championships that you haven't won yet is the Silver Roof. You're always kind of there or thereabouts when it comes to shootout time. Quite often, you're the favourite, but you've never managed to get the title. Is it one you're hungry to win?
I was a few years ago, definitely. I was hungry to win it, and we've given it a few good attempts, but it's such a draining format on funds and the money obviously I get from sponsorship and the money we put into it ourselves. It just drains the budget so much. First thing is obviously to get in the shootout, you've got to do a lot of meetings to get in it, and then obviously once you're in the shootout, it's straight after the world final, and then you've got to commit to them 10 rounds to be anywhere near trying to win it. So you're doing like a full season, and obviously it just stretches the budget so much, and you've got to be putting really good tyres on each meeting, and obviously the fuel costs and all that stuff. We don't. It's not something I'm as hungry to win now as I was a few years ago. I'm trying to just take a laid back approach now, and so I don't think I'll definitely not be doing it this year. But if we start the ground running next year with 2 cars up and running, then I'll most definitely be in it, I'd imagine. But obviously this year's just been a non-starter so far, and I can't see myself doing enough meetings to get in the shootout before then.
It is a great championship. I think certainly after the World Final there was that thing, wasn't there, of they're just waiting for the season to end, but now you've got that excitement for the crowd, and it's, a real good thing. But I get the piece around it's draining for you as drivers. You're coming to the end of the season, and actually
it's great for the fans. Obviously it gets that bit of spice for the end of the year, but it's just not something we can commit to like each year, because it's just so we need to obviously spread the cost of what we've got.
So I get what you're saying about the shootout. I think for fans it's a great ending to a season. The World Final's done. what is it to look forward to? Well, we've got that great series at the shootout, but for you as a driver, I get the piece as well. It's draining on funds and time, as well as you're coming to the end of a very long season.
Yeah, it's great for the fans. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, it gives that bit of spice towards the end of the year. But obviously, the sponsorship that we get and the funds that we put into it, it obviously stretches that, and we need to be just spend a bit more wisely now with the fuel costs and the tyres that we need to put on it to be competitive.
Yeah. Good. Shootout done, but it enables me to shoehorn in my next question. So, driver rivalry. I remember a bit of a rivalry with Tom Harris. It kind of came to a head. Northampton shootout round. And you're both kind of like, I don't know, there was some stuff kind of going on, but that's kind of been your main rivalry, I think, within Formula One is Tom. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I don't think of any other major rivalries. There's few bits and bats that's happened, but yeah, that one with Tom, we were just racing for the shootout. Can't remember if he was in contention at the time for the shootout. I don't think he was, but obviously I think he was just trying to stop us as much as he could, and yeah, just clashed heads that time. Obviously, it happens, doesn't it? When you're both trying to race and you're both trying to win, things happen. So.
And so for me, like driver rivalries, some like continue throughout a driver's career, and some just kind of like happen and then fizzle out. Is that kind of sort of happen and fizzled out type of thing, or? I
don't know. We've had a few little bits and bats, but nothing major. You know, like he did me at Buxton a few years ago, but I think that was because I tried to obviously took him out of the first bend of the world final, second bend or whatever it was. But obviously, whatever happens on track for me stays on track, and it is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah. Stock car racing.
Stock car racing, as I say.
Yeah, I like that phrase. It's my favourite phrase ever, is stock car racing. So how would you describe your driving style then?
Probably smooth and calculated, I'd say. I don't know. When I grew up watching my dad racing, I'd always watch Andy Smith race.
Yes.
He was obviously my favourite driver growing up, so obviously took a lot from watching him really, and I always thought that he was smooth and, you know, calculated and obviously ruthless when he needed to be as well.
Yeah.
But obviously, yeah, I don't know, I just do my own thing, and whatever way I think is the quickest way to win or the best way to get to the front, that's just what I do.
Yeah. Good.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Well, you've won a few championships, so yeah.
Yeah, I've done all right, I think.
Yeah. My last question for part one before we kind of finish. We spoke about sort of fans loving the shootout, and I guess the cost to you in terms of time and racing. So do you feel an expectation as a star driver in the sport to race, and also when you are racing to then perform well? Because people look at you it's Lee Fairhurst, why is Lee not booked in? You know, Lee should be winning the final. Do you feel that?
It is difficult right now when obviously my hands are tied sort of thing. We can't race. Well, I could have raced tarmac to be honest, but I've just not had the time away from what I do for work to get my car ready and everything in place. But the shale, my hands are tied. The engine's waiting for parts, so I don't feel any pressure. Not so much from fans, but feel a bit of pressure. Obviously, I want to be out there for my sponsors more than anything, and people who help me and support me. And pressure to win and stuff. Nobody puts pressure on me to do well or anything. I think I put more pressure on myself than anybody else about that. So, yeah, when I go out there, I just try and do the best I can. Like I say, I could have been racing tarmac at probably the Skeggy weekend, but there's a few bits on the car that I weren't happy with. I hadn't got round to sorting them out yet. So, like I said to my dad at the time, we could go, but I don't want to be, you know, fighting for 8th and 10th place. I want to, when I do turn up and race, I'm there to win, and then hopefully when we do turn up, we've got everything in place to do that. Yeah. If not, then we've done something else wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. So is that your mindset then? Because some drivers you talk to, they go, I'm just going to go race stock cars and enjoy it. That's it. And any places is a bonus. For yourself, is it actually?
I'd love to do that, but I only enjoy it when I win. So
okay.
I'd love to just turn up and enjoy it, but you know, I just don't enjoy getting to the front and obviously challenge. Even if you're challenging for wins and you know you're in contention, then you know that's good as well. But obviously the main aim is to win, and then we go from there.
Yeah, good. Lee, thanks so much for talking about your stock car career today. Come back tomorrow night when we will bring you part 2.